This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'll be your host today, Mason. Today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Eric and Josh versus Benchwarmer Scott and newcomer Byron Grubman. So first off, welcome to the bench, Byron. Why don't you take a minute, tell us where you're from, what teams you root for, and just anything else you'd like to say.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here. I live in Austin, Texas, by way of LA and San Diego. I grew up in LA, went to college in San Diego. Played baseball in college, physically incapable of doing that now. The San Francisco Giants are my favorite team, but also root for the New York Giants, sadly, and UCLA sports. It's all about me.
Awesome. And Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really happy to be teaming with Byron now that I've heard some of that stuff. We have a lot in common. I'm actually flying to LA on Thursday, and I'm worried because I really messed up my leg playing softball last week, like badly. I was like bedridden for 2 days and could not walk. And now I have to walk around LA for, 5 days. So it's not going to be good for my recovery, but what are you going to do? But it has made me realize that I might have to just stop playing sports because my body cannot handle it anymore.
Yeah, that sounds like a problem, but hopefully it gets better. What's your team name going to be for today?
Since Scott has an affinity for D2 the Mighty Ducks, and I currently play hockey recreationally, we are going to be Spittin' Chicklets.
Sounds good. Spittin' Chicklets. And Eric and Josh, anything you got to say before we get started?
Not a whole lot. Just my life's getting a little crazy and planning for a wedding for next weekend and everything. But other than that, just, kind of the usual. I'm mostly staying around home. So that's just kind of what 2020 is.
So I took a break to come down here. Madden came out, so that I'm lucky I've even showered in the last few days. But I can't trade for Henry Ruggs, so I got a little bit of a problem right now. And no matter what I do, it's not working. So that's just how difficult my life has been in the last 3 days.
Well, hopefully you can get Henry Ruggs very soon, at least. Eric and Josh, your team name for today?
So since Josh is really good at trivia, he knows a lot of sports figures. Our team name today is Whoville.
Very appropriate.
Who? All the who's in Whoville. Me.
We'll see how many times Josh actually gets to say who today. Hopefully not too many, but there's probably going to be a couple of them here. Okay, well, welcome to the bench, everyone. Now, on to the rules.
We will be starting off with the tailgate to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play, each with a different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from the points they've accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Time for the tailgate, which is 3 warm-up questions worth 10 points each. And for this one, I'm going to name a year and a league and 3 players that were all first-round picks that year, and you must tell me the college that they all attended. Question number 1, 2005 NFL Draft, Cadillac Williams, Carlos Rogers, Jason Campbell.
Josh, we can check in.
We can check in. I try to do it in unison with Eric.
I figured that would be a quick one. So we'll start off with Spittin' Chicklets. Go ahead and give us your answer.
I'm just typing it to my partner who typed it to me. Fun draft, 2005. It was a good one. I remember watching it with my best friend. They all went to Auburn.
All right, checking in with Auburn. And Whoville, your answer?
Yeah, we also Josh sent it to me. I'm sure he was about to. We also went with Auburn.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Auburn.
You checked in so fast, I figure I didn't need to bother sending you anyway.
It's an NFL draft question. Eric's usually going to be pretty quick on it.
Especially in the 2000s, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I forgot to mention Ronnie Bound, who was second overall. But I figured you didn't need him. You had the rest of them. So
he was the best out of the group.
Yeah. That's why I left him off. All right. Question number 2. 2011 NBA draft, Tristan Thompson, Jordan Hamilton, Corey Joseph.
Yeah, we can check it in.
Spit and Chicklets checked in. Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
There was a Joseph who went to Texas, but I don't know if it's Corey Joseph. And I don't know if they would have had 3 picks. And
What year was that again, Mason?
2011.
2011 Texas. It may have been Texas. I don't have a better answer.
like I said, if the Corey Joseph rings a bell with Texas, so
It's better than what I got.
all right. Well, then we'll check in with Texas.
Whoville is checking in with Texas. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer?
Yep. Hook up horns.
I was unaware that he was from Austin, Texas when I wrote this game. But both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Texas. So Tristan Thompson was 4th overall, and the other two were toward the bottom end of the first half. Hamilton 26th, Corey Joseph 29th, right before Jimmy Butler.
How is it that Tristan Thompson's only been in the NBA for 9 years? Like, it feels like he's been in the NBA for like 18 seasons, honestly. That's ridiculous.
Well, it helps when you go and play with, LeBron, so you hear about him all the time.
To be fair, he moved like a 35-year-old coming out of college. So
Yeah, seriously. He's looked exactly the same since he came into the league.
Last question at Tailgate. Question 3. 1997 NFL Draft. Peter Boulware, Walter Jones, work done.
We can check in.
So can we.
All right, both teams checked in. We'll start with Whoville this time.
They all went to the Florida State University.
Checked in with Florida State. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer?
Yeah, watched a lot of them in the 90s. A lot of Florida State teams in the 90s. Remember work done specifically being on there. That's Florida State Seminoles.
Both teams, once again, getting points. Correct answer is Florida State. Of course, Warwick Dunn was the Heisman semifinalist the year prior to the draft.
Yeah, if we can just normalize putting the in front of every school, then that takes away, the arrogance of Ohio State. So I guess let's go
Don't
with
give
it.
into the. Don't play their game.
Oh, I had to whistle people in one of our episodes. So
My sister's a Wolverine. We don't like the very much.
So heading into the first quarter, we have both teams knotted up at 30 points.
Before we get to the first quarter, we wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Today's first quarter will be pre- and post-game.
Pre- and post-game. For this quarter, there will be 5 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 20 points.
Question 1 of pre- and post-game. What two-way MLB player who was drafted first overall by the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters in 2012 is the collegiate field where Albert Haynesworth, Jamal Lewis, and Dante Stallworth all played?
Yeah, that seems to be it, Byron. Go ahead and check that in.
Spit and Chick checked in. Whoville, you can go ahead and talk now.
You got either of those, Josh?
I'm trying to think of the school. I don't necessarily have the field, but
They went to Miami, right?
did they?
Read those names again.
Albert Haynesworth, Jamal Lewis, and Dante Stallworth.
Maybe they didn't. No. Jamal Lewis went to Tennessee. I was thinking, I had Ray Lewis in my head. I don't know why.
I'll let you say that. I think Stallworth, yeah, was at Tennessee. So what field does Tennessee play at? Do you know their field?
Neyland Stadium. Two-way player?
Two-way MLB player drafted first overall in 2012 by the Nippon whatever.
Would you want me to read the name of the team? That helps.
Sure.
It's the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters.
Who's that pitcher for the Angels? That Asian guy.
Is it the pitcher or is it the guy who plays now in the major leagues? He's playing in the field.
Yeah. Well, he was a pitcher, wasn't he?
I don't know if he pitched in MLB much, unless we're not thinking of the right person.
But that's the only one that works with Neyland Stadium. His last name's Otani. I have no idea of his first name.
Oh,
Starts with an S, if that helps.
Scott.
Scott Ohtani.
Ohtani. No, it's right there. You're right. It starts with an S. It's Shohei. It's Shohei Ohtani.
So it'd be Shohei Ohtani Leland Stadium.
Shohei Ohtani Stadium.
I like it.
That's what we'll check in with.
All right. Whoville is checking in with Shohei Ohtani Stadium. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer?
Yeah, and about 5 minutes prior, we checked in with Shohei Ohtani Stadium.
And both teams are getting points because that is the correct answer.
Whew, okay.
So just to kind of make a note, Ohtani started pitching this year, but he started with an infinite ERA in his first start. And then he got injured, so now he's doing just hitting at this point.
Wow, an infinite ERA. I'd like to say that's impressive, but
Less than ideal, I'd say.
Question number 2. What race, which has existed since 1973 and is around 1,000 miles long, won 11 Grand Slam titles and has won the most men's singles titles in tennis history?
all right, we'll check in.
Sounds good. Whoville is checking in. Spit and Chicklets, go ahead and talk it out.
I think the current one we're sitting on isn't great, but
Yeah, right.
it's got to be either a cycling or an auto race.
Yeah.
Most auto races cap at about 500, so it'll be an endurance race.
Yeah, races aren't my strong suit.
I mean, I know a few. I don't know tennis players. I certainly don't know who has the most singles titles.
Yeah, I mean, any tennis player I can think of, it doesn't fit with a race that I am familiar with.
Right.
You know, like the most singles titles among men. I mean, that's got to be someone really prolific.
Right. But it also could be somebody from, a million years ago.
Sure.
Those pre-1980 sports we were talking about. John McEnroe, Boris Becker, Von Lendl.
Right. What about what about what about Rod Laver? The Iditarod Laver.
There we go.
You want to check in with that?
Yeah, I feel good about that.
All right. Is that the official name, right? Just the Iditarod. There's nothing fancy in front of it, right? Not that I know of.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Now we have 2. Which one do you like better?
I like yours better. I like yours way better.
All right.
I'm pretty sure mine started in the 60s, my race.
I think I like that answer better, but yeah, this one's probably closer to being correct.
Correct.
All right, so we're going to check in with the Iditarod Laver.
Spit and Chicklets checking in with the Iditarod Laver. And Whoville, your answer?
Gonna give a little bit of credit to Gary Middleton for his little word search that he put on our group, because I went through and did that, and it had tennis players, and one that came up was Rod Laver as one of that many people think is one of the 4 best of all time. So we also checked in with the Iditarod Laver.
We also checked in with the Iditarod Laver, and both teams are correct. It is the Iditarod Laver.
Nice.
Whew.
Yeah, our other one was 24 Hour of Lamondre Agassi. But that started in the 60s, or 50s.
Yeah, I thought it was older than that. I didn't realize it.
I just know the big Ford versus Ferrari took place in the 60s.
I think this is the first time we had a dog sled race question on there. So
Yeah. Man, that was a great poll, Scott.
I was just trying to, when we're thinking older, I was like Arthur Ashe. I was thinking of courts and who they're named after. And
Sure.
then I was like, oh, Rod Laver.
Yeah, I got to Rod Laver, and then the Iditarod kind of popped in at that point.
that's the way I figured you were going to have to go about that one. Because I literally couldn't really say much more. Because I said dog sled, obviously.
Right. Well, that's why I was like, well, it's got to be cycling or auto racing. Nobody runs 1,000 miles. And if they do, there's not any prominent races.
Yeah. Mason, I don't want to potentially ruin any halftime questions, but now I can't get Cuba Gooding Jr. and Snow Dogs out of my head.
You didn't.
Okay, good.
You're good. You're good. I promise. Question number 3. What All-American wide receiver and one-time All-Star pitcher for the Cubs was drafted 3rd overall in 2015 by the 76ers and now plays for the New Orleans Pelicans?
I got it, Byron. We're going to check in.
Spit and Chicklets checked in. Whoville, free discuss.
I just need the basketball player. Do you have that?
I'm working on that. Do you have the other one?
Yeah. It's Jeff Samardzija, wide receiver for Notre Dame, and then he played for the Cubs and the White Sox.
And the Giants for my partner.
Nope. He died after he left Chicago.
And the Oakland Athletics.
Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah, that's it.
So Jeff Samardzija, Jaleel Okafor.
There we go.
That's what we're checking in with.
All right. Who was checking in with? Jeff Samardzija Okafor. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer?
Okay, first of all, who are you and what have you done with Bohmbach?
I mean, he's the 3rd overall pick.
I'm impressed. That's all. I'm just saying I'm impressed. Mason, I had a Jeff Samardzija Morant pre and post game ready for my next game, so thanks for ruining that. Yeah, we checked in with Jeff Samardzija Okafor.
We also checked in with Jeff Samardzija Okafor, and both teams once again getting points.
So, Scott, I wouldn't have got it if I had to come up with both. I wouldn't have gotten Samardzija.
I mean, Jahlil Okafor's still a good pull, though, because there are many people who don't remember him.
I couldn't tell you what he's done in the NBA, but,
Not much.
Last year, he set a career high in field goal percentage and three-point percentage with the Pelicans.
Did he make a three? What was he, 1 for 1?
1 for 3.
I was just saying.
It was 33%, so I assume 1 for 3.
Oh, okay. Hey. He now has him and Ben Simmons have the same amount of career threes.
Yeah.
Listen, one day they'll catch Manute Bol.
Well, maybe one day. Both teams getting it right. So moving on to question number 4. What Red Wing, who won the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1997, caught the game-winning touchdown pass from Alex Smith to beat the Saints in the 2012 NFC Divisional Round?
How does Eric not have this yet?
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked too.
It's hard for me to jump back and forth in my head.
Check that in.
All right, we'll check in.
These are great.
Spit and Chicklets checked in. Whoville, talk it out.
Oh. It's Mike Vernon Davis.
Sure, works for me.
You said 97, right, Mason?
1997.
That's Mike Vernon. 98 was Iserman.
Vernon Davis makes complete sense. Go ahead, check that in.
All right, we're going to check in with Mike Vernon Davis.
Whoville checking in with Mike Vernon Davis. And Spit and Chicklets, go ahead and give us your answer.
Yeah, we first thought it was Vernon Davis and couldn't pair a hockey player with him, so we went Steve Yzerman, Quan Bolden.
Wait, say that again?
Steve Yzerman, Quan Bolden.
That works weirdly.
It does work. Unfortunately, that's not the right answer. The correct answer is Mike Vernon Davis.
Couldn't pull Mike Vernon.
Yeah, I actually know a ton of Red Wings because that's when I started playing the video games, and I don't remember ever using Mike Vernon.
So that particular catch is colloquially known as the catch 3. Obviously, the first one being Dwight Clark and the second one being the TO one. So I don't know how many they're going to do, but
they'll stop at the catch 22.
The only catch I know is the one that Des Bryant had against the Packers that wasn't a catch, but
the non-catch. The non-catch catch.
Wasn't a catch.
That was a catch. I don't care what you say. He caught the ball.
Cowboys fans can continue to cry into their Lone Star about it.
Listen, when you catch the ball and basically read your mom a book and then, run down the field, stop, have a snack, and then drop the ball, that's a catch.
But Eric, those aren't football moves.
No.
That's because it takes long enough that you could read a book to your mom. That's not a football move. So
I apologize. I'm wrong. No, I get it. I'm wrong. I get it. All right.
Last pre and post game, question 5. What longtime ESPN anchor, who is given the nickname Mr. Extra Period because he called the 3 longest televised games in NHL history, is the only golfer from Fiji to win a major on the PGA Tour, having won the Masters in 2000 and the PGA Championship in 1998 and 2004?
Check it in.
Spit checked in. Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
Vijay Singh is from Fiji, right?
maybe.
Can you think of another golfer from Fiji?
You got the ESPN analyst, the anchor, Mr. Extra Period.
Steve Levy. Does that work?
Steve Vijay Singh.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I have nothing better. Is that what we're going with?
All right, let's go with it.
All right. We'll check in with Steve Vijay Singh.
Whoville's checking in with Steve Vijay Singh. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer?
Byron, Mike Vernon is really going to come back to haunt us, it seems like,
I know.
in this game.
These guys are pulling it from everywhere.
The answer is Steve Vijay Singh.
And once again, both teams are correct. It is Steve Vijay Singh. Vijay Singh was actually number 1 in the world for a good time in 2004 and 2005 and won a FedEx Cup. And all 3 of the longest televised games were all playoff games, incidentally. After the first quarter, we have a score of Spit and Chicklets with 110 and Whoville just in the lead with 130. Now we're moving on to today's second quarter, which will be the Dean's List.
The Dean's List. For this quarter, there will be 3 lists containing 10 items, where the teams will go back and forth, guessing the items on the list. If a team guesses incorrectly, the other team can attempt to finish out that list. Each team is allowed one mulligan to be used after an incorrect guess. Each item is worth 10 points.
List number 1, we'll be starting with Spit and Chicklets. And I want you to name the top 10 QBs with the most rushing yards in the 2019 NFL season. And I will note there's a tie for 10th, so if you name one of them, then the other one will be ineligible.
Yeah, we're going to go with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is number 1 with 1,206. Whoville?
We're going to check in with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, number 3 on the list, 510. Back to Spit and Chicklets.
We're going to go with Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, number 6 with 342. That's correct for 10 points. And back to Whoville.
We'll check in with Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson is correct. Number 4, 413 rushing yards. Back to Spit and Chicklets.
We're going to go with Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, number 2 with 544 rushing yards. Whoville, you're up.
We're going to go with Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is number 8 with 277. Back to Spitting Chicklets.
We're going to check in with the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is unfortunately not on the list.
Wow.
Number 13.
Wow.
I knew he was injured, but I didn't think he missed enough time.
Would you like to use your mulligan?
How many are left?
4, 5, 7, 9, and 10.
I don't feel super strong about the ones that we have.
Yeah, no, I don't think we should.
Okay.
So Spit and Chicklets is not using their mulligan, which means Whoville, talk it out.
All right, who was the lowest guy on the list so far that we have, Josh?
So far, Dak Prescott at 277.
277.
He was
All
number 8.
So that's going to be roughly, it's under 20 yards a game. So these aren't going to be rushing quarterbacks. These are going to be quarterbacks with bad offensive lines.
Yeah, I mean, number 5, you're talking about between Watson and Wilson. So maybe a little more of a scrambler.
You know who ran a lot was Fitzpatrick, Jameis Winston. Bad O-lines. They were running for their lives. And then also Gardner Minshew. I know he would run a lot.
All right, we'll go with that one then.
All right, we're going to go with Gardner Minshew the second.
Glad you clarified Gardner Minshew.
Not his dad.
He is number 5 with 344. Minshew Mania in action. Had to run along, obviously.
All right, so we have 7, 9, and 10.
I like Fitzpatrick here. His time when he was in Buffalo, he ran a lot. He makes the most sense to me here.
All right, I don't have anything better, so.
All right, we're going to go with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is tied for 10th with 243. That is a correct answer.
So we have 7 and 9. I mean, obviously, none of these are like high volume.
No. That's why I think Winston might be one of them.
Yeah, I shouldn't question your initial gut too often, so let's go with it.
We're going to go with Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston, New Orleans Saints quarterback, is number 9 with 250.
One left. I'm not going to get him.
Baker Mayfield, does he run much?
Yeah, let's go with it.
All right, we'll check in with Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield is number 20 on the list.
We are not going to use our mulligan on the last one.
All right. So just wanted to make a note. Number 10, the other number 10 was Carson Wentz. And number 7, New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I thought of that well after we got balanced. I was like, damn it, he scrambled quite a bit.
So the next one's off the list. Jacoby Brissett, Patrick Mahomes, Mitchell Trubisky, Ryan Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers. We'll move into list number 2, starting with Whoville. And it's to name the universities with the most NCAA men's lacrosse championship tournament appearances.
I know this will surprise you, Eric, but I don't pay a lot of attention to college lacrosse.
The one I sent you has the most championships, I believe. So
Then they're probably the best one to go with first then.
we're going to go with Syracuse.
Syracuse is number 4 on the list with 38 appearances. Over to Spit and Chicklets.
Byron, this is going to be all you. This is going to be a Byron list, guys.
Good.
Just so you know. I played lacrosse in high school gym, and it was the one sport that I wasn't good at automatically, so it's been dead to me ever since.
I appreciate you putting this all on me. Shoot. We're going to say Duke.
Duke is number 10 on the list with 23.
That was the one I had. Eric, you feel good with either of the other ones you sent?
Not after how low Duke and Syracuse were.
To me, this is just a crapshoot at this point.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go with Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins is number 1 with 47. That's correct for 10 points.
You don't know Johnny Hopkins.
All right, I'm going to go with a hunch here and think the Ivies are represented. So I'm going to say Harvard.
Harvard is unfortunately not on the list.
Damn it.
I have to look and see how far. Harvard's only has 6 appearances.
Okay.
It's up to you if you want to use them all again, man.
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
No, God. End this round.
So with that, Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
So I think Ivy League is one of the teams is going to be on here, but I think it's going to be either Princeton or Cornell. Other teams I'm thinking are, I know North Carolina's got a decent team year to year. Maryland, whereas my father would say Maryland. Let's go with Maryland first and then Princeton.
All right, so we'll check in with Maryland.
Maryland, number 2 with 42 appearances. Correct.
It's that area. It really is that area. It's that, like John Hopkins, Maryland, Virginia, Duke. So I maybe go North Carolina.
Sure.
All right, let's go North Carolina.
North Carolina, number 5 with 32 appearances is correct.
All right. You want to do Princeton here? I think I'm running out of ideas. Or Virginia. Princeton or Virginia?
Virginia, Princeton. Do you have a stronger feeling?
I say we could keep going with what we were doing just in that general area.
Okay.
And go from there.
Go Virginia next.
Yeah.
All right, we'll check in with Virginia.
Virginia, the 2019 champion with 39 appearances is correct. Number 3 on the list.
All right. Let's go with Princeton.
Princeton is tied for 11th with 20.
Yeah, we're not. No. Unless you want to, Josh.
No.
4 names left.
Nope.
There's 4 left, Josh. Come on. We can get
Nope.
this. I'm curious as there's got to be an Ivy League team on there. So, but yeah, no, we're not going to.
There is. I'm about to tell you what it is.
Cornell. It's Cornell.
Number 6 is Cornell.
Damn it.
Number 7 has never won a championship, Navy. Number 8, rivals with Johns Hopkins, Loyola of Maryland.
Oh.
And number 9 has also never won, Notre Dame.
Huh.
Really?
All right. Well, both teams still have their mulligans heading into the final list. And once again, we'll be starting with Spit and Chicklets. And your task is to name the top 10 batters with most strikeouts as a member of the San Francisco Giants.
We'll say stretch, Willie McCovey.
William McCovey, number 2 on the list, 1,351.
All right, we'll check in with Willie Mays.
You can go ahead and say hey to the number 1 answer because that is correct.
All right. Not that I think he struck out a ton, but he played there long enough. I think it's Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds is number 7 with 949.
All right, well, we're gonna go with Barry's dad, Bobby. He played with him for a long time, so I gotta imagine he's on the list. So Bobby Bonds.
Bobby Bonds is number 3 on the list, 1,016.
We're gonna go with Orlando Cepeda.
Orlando Cepeda is number 15 on the list, 636.
All right, we got a mulligan.
Yeah. Let's use it. Go with my guy, Will Clark.
Will Clark, number 11 on the
Oh,
list.
are you kidding me?
44. So with Whoville,
I've sent you 2 names.
You said Matt Williams and JT Snow. Were they there long enough?
I think Matt Williams was, and I'm just naming Giants players I know, like that I knew play there for a decent amount of time.
And they both would have struck out a decent amount, especially
Yeah.
Williams.
What about? Well, I have one old name.
What's the old name you got?
But this is going back. It's New York Giants, so it was Mel Ott. I'm not even 100% that he played for the Giants.
I think he did.
Okay, so we can go with either of those 3 unless you got a different name.
I don't have a different name. Pick any of them. I mean, Mel Ott, I think, did play for him for a long time. He was definitely playing before there was a lot of movement.
Yeah, let's go Matt Williams first.
Okay.
I like that.
All right.
Probably best. All right, we're gonna go with Matt Williams.
Matt Williams, number 9, 872.
At this point, you've got 2 other names. I don't think I have anything else.
And we got a mulligan, so we can do whatever. Let's go JT Snow.
JT Snow sneaks into the list at number 10, 806.
All right, we got one name left, but if it's wrong, I don't have another name to throw out. So
I don't even think I have another name even if it's right.
yeah, let's go Mel Ott.
Mel Ott from Gretna, Louisiana. I had to pluck that. Is number 8 with 896.
All right, pick Tim Lincecum. I have no idea. I got.
Let's at least find a position player.
Sandoval.
Sure.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, go with it.
Sure.
So you're checking in with Pablo Sandoval?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
He is number 17 on the list.
Oh, thank God. I'd have been furious if any of the current guys were on there and we missed them.
Wait, we got a mulligan.
They do have a mulligan.
Any other old Giants?
Think a name Matt throws out all the time. There's got to be somebody.
Mel Ott was probably the only one.
Jeff Kent, maybe? Buster Posey, Hunter Pence.
Kevin Mitchell? Now I'm just throwing out names.
One of my favorite baseball names of all time was a Giant. I don't know how long. Chili Davis.
Oh, I like Chili Davis. Big fan of him in 91. So go with it.
Chili Davis. Let's take a shot.
Chili Davis, number 20 on the list.
Oh.
Yeah. So the remaining names. Number 4, Brandon Belt. Number 5, Robbie Thompson. I had no idea who that was.
You want to say it, Josh?
I'm going to wait to see if all 4 hit my my Whoville list. So far we're at 2. Who else we got?
Brandon Crawford.
Is there another one, or is that the last ones?
That's it.
So the next few: Will Clark, Jim Davenport, Rich Aurelia, Jeff Kent, Orlando Cepeda, Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval, Hunter Pence, Jeffrey Leonard, and Chili Davis.
Good. A bunch of guys I wrote down and didn't say.
I'm just going to, for those other 3, we'll just give a who? Just for good measure.
There you go. My favorite one's number 27 on the list, High Pockets Kelly.
Matt would have had that.
And Kevin Mitchell, you mentioned, is number 42.
Yeah, I didn't think Mitchell would be on there.
He was only there for like 3 or 4 years. He wasn't there for very long.
Hey, still top 50.
Well, I mean, he won the MVP with them in 89.
So after that second quarter, Whoville had 160 points in the quarter, and Spit and Chicklets had 60 in the quarter, which leaves our scores heading into halftime at Spit and Chicklets with 170 and Whoville with 290.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 5 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 20 points.
Question 1. The show Sing Your Face Off was a short-lived 2014 competition where celebrities were assigned an artist to impersonate. What former Knick, who was a Raptor at the time of the show, was a co-runner-up, losing to China Ann McClain?
All right, let's check in with that.
Whoville is checking in. Spit and Chicklets, go ahead and discuss.
The name is not coming to me, but it was a guard that didn't get his contract renewed, or he didn't get an offer letter matched by the Knicks.
Okay.
Only a couple years in the league. I think at the end of his rookie contract when that happened.
Yeah, right. That would make sense. So 2010, 2011-ish would have been when he came into the league.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And it's not Iman Shumpert. So.
I don't think so. I think he went directly to Cleveland after.
I know he went to play with LeBron, yeah.
I don't think he had another stop in between.
There were a bunch of guys that have played for the Knicks and Raptors. Like Jeremy Lin has played for both teams, but I know it's not Jeremy Lin.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as when he said Raptors, my first thought was Charles Oakley, but it's way too late.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
We can try Shumpert. I'm not positive that he went straight to Cleveland, so we can try him.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna pull.
Yeah, it's not coming to me. I don't think.
All right, we'll check in with Iman Shumpert.
Spit and Chicklets checked in with Iman Shumpert and Whoville. Your answer?
So I knew a couple players. Jeremy Lin played for the Raptors and the Knicks, and I pegged one more guy, Landry Fields, played for the Knicks and the Raptors. So just process of elimination wasn't Jeremy Lin, so we went with Landry Fields.
Whoville checked in with Landry Fields. One team is getting points. The correct answer is Landry Fields. So when I said celebrities, I meant that lightly because the other ones were Lisa Rinna, John Lovitz, and lead singer of Skid Row, Sebastian Bach.
Love John Lovitz.
I completely forgot Landry Fields ever existed in life.
Yeah.
Scott, if it makes you feel better, that was all Eric.
But I remember the contract thing. I remember the news that he didn't get his offer sheet matched. Yeah, I just forgot his name.
Yeah, he only played in New York and Toronto, and that was it.
He is a player I've heard of.
That's good.
This day's coming up, Bohmbach.
I just never heard of that show either. I'm guessing it didn't last very long because it sounds terrible.
I hadn't either. I think I was looking up something about Jeremy Lin. I was like, Landry Fields, let me see something. Because I think it was pre and post Landry Fields. And I saw that and I was like, okay, that's a halftime question there.
See, apparently what they had to do was put masks on them, have them dance around and sing in stupid costumes, and it would be
a hit. Right.
Be careful. Dan loves that show.
I'm a fan of it as well. I can't wait for the new season.
I've never seen 1 second of that.
The best.
Show.
It's not even so much the show itself. It's just trying to guess who the celebrities are based on the clues.
Anyway, question number 2. Despite its name, what hockey-named band has only one member, John Ondrasik? It must not have been easy for him to be a one-man band, as he said he would give anything to be Michael Jordan in one of his band's songs.
Check that in, Byron.
All right, we'll check it in.
Spit and Chicklets checked in. Uvo, go ahead.
Yeah, I just sent you 5 for fighting.
Honestly, I've heard of the band, and not once ever hearing the band's name did I ever interpret it as a hockey term, but it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, I can't think of other ones that would fit that.
Nope, like I said, today's coming up Bohmbach. I like this. These questions are almost geared towards you. This is good.
That might be the episode name, Coming Up Bohmbach. I actually love that.
Well, there's still a lot of game left, all right?
Well, to be fair, I got some of the obvious answers in the Dean's list, so...
Hey, they're correct answers. Who cares if they're obvious?
Let's go with it.
All right, we'll check in with 5 for fighting.
Uville checked in with 5 for fighting. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer.
Yeah, so my partner put this in the chat super early, and I also recognize the name. He's more than a bird. He's more than a plane. He's more than some pretty face beside a train. The answer is 5 for fighting.
And Spit and Chicklets also checked in with 5 for fighting, and both teams will be getting points. That is the correct answer.
It's not easy to beat him.
That's why I alluded to that in the question. And he did also have a song called Michael Jordan where he listed a bunch of things he would give up just to be Michael Jordan.
Here's a riddle for you. Yeah, they're not bad. Oh, he's not bad.
Moving on to question number 3. What non-sports movie features the following speech in its entirety? Everything is different, but the same. Things are more moderner than before. Bigger and yet smaller. It's computers. San Dimas High School football rules.
We can check it.
Yeah, we can check that in.
Uville checked in.
All right, so these guys are having the time of their lives, and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah,
so.
I know the song title. I just don't know the non-football movie.
Oh my God, Mason, I almost wrote this question.
Yeah, it's going to be a comedy movie, one that Eric really likes. So.
Oh, shoot.
Is it a Will Ferrell flick?
No, it's old. Because the Ataris must have pulled this from early in the 90s or the 80s.
Okay. So you think it's Bill and Ted?
I mean, that's the first one that came to mind, but I don't know why they would be talking about football. I
mean, if that's what jumped in your head, I don't have anything better.
I mean, I grew up 30 minutes from San Dimas. I'm trying to remember movies that touched on that.
Sure.
Yeah, screw it. Let's go with it.
Check it in.
Yeah, we'll go with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Spit and Chicklets checked in with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And Whoville, your answer?
This is one of the best movies ever made. The new one just came out, and it was during their big school project. And I can't believe you're at this question. I love it. Yeah, we checked in with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, thank goodness.
It wasn't Bill and Ted, though. It was the football players.
No, that's what I mean. But it was during the big, everyone was giving their presentations on the stage, and this guy's just rambling about garbage, and this finishes it with San Dimas High School football rules, and the whole frigging crowd cheers. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Both teams are correct. It is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Eric took my flavor text about the movie just coming out.
Thank you. Now I have that song stuck in my head.
2 heads is better than 1. Now I'm going to have the quotes from this movie in my head all day.
You're welcome.
Watch your robe, Socrates. Don't get sucked under beef oven. Scott, hold on a minute.
Yeah, what's up?
You've not seen this movie?
I feel like I've said on the podcast before, I haven't seen many movies that came out before 1990.
Okay, well.
Many. That being one of them.
Get on it.
Back to the Future movies. Have you seen those?
Nope.
What?
I've seen Ghostbusters. If that
We're in
helps.
quarantine. You're stuck at home. It's the perfect time to catch up on all the.
I keep trying to study hockey players, and that's not working. So you're right. I do need to try something new.
So speaking of Back to the Future, most people don't say this, but honestly, I think the third one is a great movie.
It's fantastic.
The third one is way better than the second one.
Yeah, the second one drags.
All of them are great.
The first one's the best. Third one is very good. The second one's all right.
It's like the anti-Mighty Ducks.
Oh, here we go again.
All right, sorry.
Question 4. Complete this line from 5x8 by Action Bronson with the NBA player drafted 10th overall in the 2011 NBA draft who now plays for Panathinaikos. And here's the line. Olives pressed, greenish on the glimmer, get me on the court, shoot from anywhere like blank.
We can check in.
Got it. Yeah.
So, Eric, I think this is Matt's favorite player.
It's Jimmer.
It's Jimmer Fredette.
Was he 11?
10th in 2011? Sure. But what else rhymes with glimmer other than Jimmer?
DJ Cooper.
No.
Robert Lewandowski.
He's really good.
That's what I hear. I hear he's Polish, too.
All right, let's go with Jimmer Fredette.
Matt's favorite basketball player, Jimmer Fredette.
Yes. Whoville checked in with Jimmer Fredette. And Spit and Chick, what's your answer?
Yeah, Byron and I were in agreement. It's definitely Jimmer Fredette.
Yes, the correct answer is Jimmer Fredette. Unfortunately, Matt's not here to answer that question, but yeah, it is his favorite basketball player. Last question of halftime. The line, they sent a carrier out from Norfolk and picked the Yankees up for free, is featured in the 1976 song Miami 2017, Seen the Lights Go Out on Broadway, which was performed by what artist? He altered some of the lyrics when he performed at the final concert held in Shea Stadium.
We'll go ahead and check that in.
Spit and Chick was checked in. Whoville? Go ahead and discuss.
So, I don't know anything up until the last part where last concert at Shea Stadium, and I'm pretty sure that's Billy Joel.
I'm fine with that.
I everything up before that is kind of just...
The song, that title doesn't really ring a bell to me. But...
Yeah, none of that means anything to me. And I just know I've heard that the last concert, I think he did like a 2-concert stint to close out Shea Stadium.
I'm not going to question you on that.
All right, so let's check in with Billy Joel.
Whoville checked in with Billy Joel. Spit and Chick, what's your answer?
Yeah, so it's a weird lyric and a weird song title. So I was thinking of who does interesting things like that. And then also, just like Eric, it was the Shea Stadium thing that stayed in my head. I remember hearing something about this gentleman having the final concerts there. But then I second guessed myself because typically I only do 80s Joel. But we checked in with Billy Joel anyway.
Spit and Chick was also checked in with Billy Joel. And the correct answer is Billy Joel. I wanted to kind of give you another in because that song is one of his less popular. It's one of my favorite Billy Joel songs, but it's a less popular one.
That's Scott's second Step Brothers quote of the game.
Strictly 80s Joel.
I could do it all day, all night. Today, I saw my son use a bicycle as a weapon.
Heading into the second half, we have scores of Spitting Chicklets with 250 and Whoville in the lead with 390.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now, on to the second half. Today's third quarter will be How Low Can You Go?
How low can you go? For this quarter, there will be 4 questions consisting of 5 clues, given one at a time. After each clue, both teams will decide if they want to check in with their guests by sending a chat to the host. If a correct answer is checked in after the first clue, the team will receive 50 points. After the second clue, 40. After the third clue, 30, and so on.
Question number 1. What am I? Clue 1. Both the Athletics and Pirates considered playing here due to their stadium leases.
We'll take another clue.
Spit and Chick, let's take another clue. And Whoville?
Yeah, I think we need another one at least, right?
Yeah, another clue.
All right. Next clue, and this is for Scott. Dominique Moceanu became the youngest women's all-around national champion at 13 here.
I like her.
Yeah, I guess we need one more, though.
Yeah, I would say get one more.
All right, let's take one more.
Uville taking one more. Spit and Chicklets.
Let's take one more, Byron.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, both teams going for another clue. So we move on to clue number 3. The attendance record here is 78,133 in 2018 for WrestleMania 34.
Yeah, let's check that out.
All right, we'll check in.
Whoville is checking in. Spit and Chicklets, go ahead and talk it out.
So we're looking at a dome.
Yep.
One that was around in 2018. Sky Dome, Metrodome, and Kingdome are all gone, and the Astrodome.
Yeah.
I mean, the Georgia Dome is still standing,
Right.
and the Mercedes-Benz field didn't open in 2018. The Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Yeah, I think it's the Superdome. Well, I think that's the answer because 1, know your host.
Okay.
2, I know they were in the Superdome for WrestleMania 30, and I think they went back a couple years later.
Sure. Yeah, if you like it, I'm good with it.
Sure. We'll check in with the Superdome.
Ben Chicklets checked in with the Superdome for 30 points. And Whoville also checked in for 30 points. Go ahead and give us your answer.
Go ahead, Eric.
We also checked in. We had an idea what it was after the second one, but that last part gave it away. It's the Superdome.
Know your host.
Let's see if you do know your host. I'll go ahead and read the last 2 clues as well. Clue 4 would have been the famous no Moss fight between Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran occurred here. And the last one would have been the stadium has held the most Super Bowls, hosting 8 times since its completion in 1975. And that is the Superdome / Louisiana Superdome / Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Any of them would have been fine by me.
Yeah, and Byron, I do believe the Georgia Dome does not exist anymore. I think it got demolished a couple of years back.
The first clue I found really interesting because I did not know about that. But in the late 70s, early 80s, the Athletics and Pirates both considered playing in the Superdome because of issues they had. And the last MLB game they had was in 99 with the Cubs and Twins. Question 2, when am I? Clue 1, Mark Williams defeats Ken Doherty 18-16 to win his second World Snooker Championship.
Who and who?
And what? We'll take another clue. Sorry, Dan, but we're taking another clue.
Whoville, you looking another one?
I've been looking up a lot of snooker lately.
Do you have this?
No, I don't.
All right, we'll take another clue then.
I figured both teams take another clue. Clue 2, Mike Weir becomes the first left-handed golfer to win the Masters.
Yeah, we'll I don't know if he sent it to you, but we'll check it in.
All right, Spit and Chicklets checked in. Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
All right, so I know Mickelson won his first in 2004, and he's left-handed.
He is.
So it's before 2004. I know Mike Weir is a golfer from the 2000s.
I agree with both of your statements. So we have 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. So can we rule any of those out?
Yes, we can rule them all out.
All of them?
Hopefully not all of them.
We can rule, well, except the one that we need. Except the one we need. So Vijay Singh, as you heard earlier, won in 2000.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. All
Tiger
right.
Woods won 01 and 02.
Well, then that leaves only
2003.
right, because he couldn't have won it after Mickelson if he was the first lefty. Well, there you go.
All right, we're going to check in with 2003.
Whoville checking in with 2003 for 40 points. And Spit and Chicklets also checked in for 40 points. So go ahead and give us your answer.
Yeah, it was for sure 2003.
And the rest of the clues, which apparently I didn't have to read, but I'm going to read them to you now so they don't get wasted. Yeah, Bill Mueller hits 2 grand slams in a single game from opposite sides of the plate. The only time in MLB history this happened. Detroit Shock win the WNBA Finals. They're the only team to go from the worst overall record to winning a championship the following year. And finally, the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team win their only NCAA tournament. And that is all. So we'll move on to question number 3. Who am I?
Who?
Yeah, this is Josh's area of expertise.
Ooh.
Clue 1. I was one of the subjects of Darcy Frey's book, The Last Shot, which chronicled my high school team, Abraham Lincoln High School.
Eric, I know how good you are with your literary questions.
Well, I mean, like, was Harry Potter in this book?
Backup shooting guard.
I know like 3 books, okay? Where's Waldo?
It's Waldo.
Is it Waldo? He was a hell of a center. Tall and lanky. No one could ever find him on the floor. It was perfect.
I've not read this book, so.
I haven't either, but
I've never even heard of it. We're going to take another clue.
I barely heard of it. But Spit and Chicklets, take another clue. Whoville, you gonna venture a guess here?
So we'll take another clue.
Both teams moving on. So clue number 2. I am the current head coach of the Beijing Royal Fighters, as well as an owner of the CAFL's Beijing Lions.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with it.
All right, we'll check it in.
Whoville checking in for 40 points. Spit and Chicklets, go ahead and talk it out.
Man, I don't even know where to start. What was the name of the book again?
The Last Shot by Darcy Frey.
And you said this person was specifically a head coach?
I am the current head coach of the Beijing Royal Fighters, as well as an owner of the CAFL's Beijing Lions.
Yeah, I'm lost. Like Last Shot, but then CAFL.
Yeah, that's leaning towards soccer, but they're usually managers, not head coaches. Who has the profile to buy a team?
I have no idea. Like, I don't even know if it's an American or not.
I mean, Abraham Lincoln High School says to me it's probably American, but male, female.
Is it Mia Hamm?
That's really the highest profile one that I can think of. But then you got like Landon Donovan, but I think he's still playing.
He's still playing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we got to reach for points, that's the best one I'm going to come up with after these 2 clues.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well, I guess.
All right, let's check it in.
Go for it.
We'll check in with Mia Hamm.
Spit and Chicklets checked in for 40 points with Mia Hamm. And Whoville, go ahead and give us your answer.
So you got the wrong sport. This is a person that I sort of wish in hindsight the Timberwolves had never traded for. I wish they would have just kept Ray Allen. But this is the prolific Chinese basketball player, Stefan Marbury.
Whoville checked in with Stefan Marbury. The other 3 clues. I was featured on the cover of the 2004 video game NBA Ballers. My career high in points per game was the 2000-2001 season, where I averaged 23.9 points per game with the New Jersey Nets. And finally, I was drafted 4th overall in the 96 NBA draft by the Bucks and was subsequently traded for Ray Allen and a future first-round pick, which later became the legend himself, Danny Fortson.
Good rebounder.
And the correct answer is Stefan Marbury.
You didn't ask any. You didn't mention any clue about the shoes, huh?
The $15 Starberries.
And the other interesting thing, there's also a musical and a movie about his Chinese basketball career.
I have his documentary in like my Netflix queue, like my list. One of my favorite players growing up.
I liked him for a while until he decided he needed to play in a big market and really screwed up what could have been a fantastic duo for a long time. But he had to be the man.
He had to go to New Jersey.
Yeah, they would have gone to a finals for sure.
Yeah, I think they would have, but and I think Kevin Garnett was willing to let him be the man. It just Garnett always got most of the publicity, so
yep,
whatever.
They would have gone to a finals. They would have still picked up Zerbiak. They would have gone to a finals.
Timberwolves.
This has been a Timberwolves rant by Josh.
I helped.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you backing me up there. That was good.
The final question in How Low Can You Go? The only one we haven't used yet. Where am I?
Who? Oh, wait. Sorry.
No, not who. Where?
I don't know any other things.
Listen, this episode's coming up Bohmbach, all right? So let's
coming up Bohmbach.
Has to be. Anyway, where am I? Clue 1. I won the first FIBA World Championship in 1950.
We'll take another clue.
Spin Chicklets, take another clue. Whoville?
We'll take another clue.
Whoville taking another clue. So we move on to clue 2. I joined the Tri-Nations in 2012, which then became the Rugby Championship.
If what you said sent you down kind of researchy rabbit hole and you feel good with that, let's go with it.
All right.
So Whoville, you're checking in for 40 points. So Spin Chicklets, go ahead and discuss.
Pretty sure the Tri-Nations rugby was initially Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. And I know Argentina's a part of it. I just don't know when they joined. But that was one of my guesses for the first FIBA championship.
Yeah.
So pretty sure Australia was an original member of the Tri-Nations. I don't think they joined late.
Okay.
You want to check in with it?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, we'll check in also.
All right, so Spin Chicklets is checking in for 40 points with
Argentina.
Argentina. And Whoville, you also checked in on the second clue for 40 points. Go ahead and give us your answer.
So Josh, you posted a this day in sports on the bench about Argentina beating Team USA. So I tried to come up with, writing a dean's list for it, like with a FIBA question, but didn't really work out. But as I was looking through, I did notice that the very first one was Argentina beating Team USA to win the first FIBA. So we checked in with Argentina.
Both teams checked in with Argentina. The other clues. My highest ranked players all time in tennis are Guillermo Vilas and Gabriela Sabatini, who both reached number 2 in the ATP rankings in the 80s. The only 2 golfers from here to win a major are Roberto Di Vincenzo and Angel Cabrera. And finally, arguably my most famous soccer stars are Diego Maradona and Lionel Messi. And the correct answer is Argentina.
I'll take the abstract assist on that one.
I really need to pay attention to the bench, apparently.
Okay. After the third quarter, we have scores of Spittin' Chicklets, 360, and Whoville, 540.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 5 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
And the categories for today are as follows. If You Had My Love, Bills, 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 Wild, Wild West, Genie in a Bottle, and 1999.
Literally some of my favorite songs right there, Mason. Jennifer Lopez, Destiny's Child, Will Smith, Christina Aguilera.
Yep. Cool Mo D with Wild, Wild West.
Yes.
Okay. If You Had My Love is NBA, Bills, 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 NFL. Wild, Wild West is MLB. Genie in a Bottle is tennis. And 1999 is boxing. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question 1, in the category of If You Had My Love, Kevin Love left UCLA to enter the 2008 NBA draft. And in that draft, he was selected 5th overall by what team? He was traded 2 hours after draft night ended in a trade which involved 8 different players.
Coming up Bohmbach today. Let's check it in.
All right, we'll check in.
Whoville, checked in, Spittin' Chicklets. Go ahead and discuss.
Once you said the name of the trade, I was like, oh yeah, that's who sent it.
Yep, you're definitely, yeah, that's correct for sure.
All right, we'll check it in.
Go ahead.
Memphis.
Spittin' Chicklets checked in with Memphis for how many points?
70.
70. And Whoville, your answer and wager.
We wagered 100 and also said the Memphis Grizzly, and the key other draftee in that trade was O.J. Mayo.
From his rival USC.
And Whoville also checked in with the Memphis Grizzlies, and both teams are getting points. So the trade involved Kevin Love, Mike Miller, Brian Cardinal, and Jason Collins for the 3rd overall pick in that draft, O.J. Mayo, Antoine Walker, Marco Jaric, and Greg Buckner.
Jaric. Just wanted to help you out there. It's Marco Jaric.
I didn't bother looking at the pronunciation. He's not that important. So after the first question, we have scores of Spittin' Chicklets, 430, Whoville, 640. Question number 2 in the category of Bills, Bills, Bills. Super Bowl 25 featured the Bills and Giants squaring off at Tampa Stadium. In the first quarter, Jim Kelly threw a long pass, which was tipped by Giants cornerback Perry Williams into the hands of what Hall of Fame wide receiver for a 61-yard gain, his only catch on the day.
We'll check in.
Spittin' Chicklets checked in. Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
James Lofton. We're going to check in with James Lofton.
Whoville checked in with James Lofton for how many points?
100 points.
100. Spittin' Chicklets, your answer and wager, please.
Well, I guess I should have paid attention to that Super Bowl. I probably should have, since it was 2 New York teams, but I was also 2 when it took place. So even if maybe I did watch it, I don't know, but I have no recollection of it. The only Hall of Fame receiver I knew that was on the Bills was Andre Reed. So we checked in for 70 points with Andre Reed.
Checked in for 70 points with Andre Reed, and one team will be getting points. The correct answer is James Lofton.
Wow.
I watched every minute of that Super Bowl because there was a rumor going around that if the Bills won, I was not a Bills fan, but if they won, we would not have school the next day. I've still yet to find out if that's true or not.
He went from the Packers to the Raiders to the Bills to the Eagles to the Rams. They had 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers on that team, so that's why.
And no Super Bowls.
Yep, that's correct.
The wide right Super Bowl?
Yes, it is.
The very one. Okay, so the scores are now Spit and Chicklets 360 and Whoville up to 740. Question 3 in the category of Wild Wild West. The NL West has changed quite a bit since its creation in 1969. There are 3 current MLB teams which started in the NL West but have since moved to another division in the MLB, with all of them moving prior to the start of the 1994 season. I want you to name those 3 teams.
Mason, we're going to check in.
Whoville checked in. Spit and Chicklets. Go ahead and discuss it.
I'm fairly confident on 2 of them. One of them I'm not certain about.
Which one's that? The Cardinals?
Yeah, I don't know if the Cardinals were ever in the NL West.
I feel like they might have been. They popped in my head before the Braves did.
I honestly can't think of any other ones that would be like the Phillies, the Pirates,
Right.
the Cubs. Those were all in the East.
Yeah, the Expos wouldn't be in the West. The Reds.
No, definitely not the Reds.
Yeah, it's not the Reds. The Brewers were in the AL.
Right.
And they went back and forth.
Yeah. Honestly, those are the 3 best ones that I've got.
Yep. Go ahead and check it in.
All right, we'll check in with Atlanta, Houston, and St. Louis.
And Chicklets checked in with Atlanta, Houston, and St. Louis for how many points?
70.
7. And Whoville, your wager and answer.
So I was 100% on the Braves and the Reds. I had the Astros on there too. I wasn't sure about them, but Josh was pretty good with that. I know it was the Reds because it was in early 90s. Every baseball team I played for growing up was the Reds, and it was the most depressing thing in the world. So I casually became my second favorite team was the Reds, so I followed them a little bit in the early 90s, but whatever. So we checked in with the Braves, Reds, and the Astros.
Checked in with the Braves, Reds, and Astros for how many points?
100 points.
And the correct answers are the Atlanta Braves, the Houston Astros, and the Cincinnati Reds. So just a brief history. The Braves moved to the NL East in 94. The Reds moved to NL Central 94. And the Astros moved to the NL Central 94. And then moved to the AL West in 2013. All right, and the scores are now Spit and Chicklets with 290 and Whoville at 840. Heading into question 4 in the category of Genie in a Bottle. Eugenie Jeannie Bouchard has made 1 Grand Slam finals appearance at the 2014 Wimbledon Championships, becoming the first Canadian-born player representing Canada to reach the finals of any Grand Slam tournament. What Czech player beat her in the finals 6-3, 6-0 to get her second career Wimbledon victory?
It's the only one I can think of who's Czech, so.
Go with it.
All right, let's check in.
Whoville's checked in. Spin Chicklets. Go ahead and discuss.
Yeah, we're not super confident on this. I know a lot of tennis players, but I don't always know their country of origin.
Yeah, it's either Ivanovic or Kvitovic. I know she has 1, but I don't know if she has a second.
I don't think she has 2. Ivanovic is really good, so she's more likely to have multiple Wimbledon championships.
Okay, yeah, tennis isn't my big one, but.
And yeah, 2014 is, she started to really win around like 2010-ish, so she could have got 2 in that span.
Kvitovic was the only other Eastern European
Sure.
name that came to mind from that time period, so good with yours.
All right, so we'll check in for 70 points with Ana Ivanovic.
Checking in for 70 points with Ana Ivanovic. And Whoville, your answer and wager.
So we wagered 100 points, and we figured that her name sounds Czech, because I don't know if she could be any of those countries, I guess. Not sure the first name, just the last name is Kvitova.
So you checked in for 100 points with Kvitova?
Yep.
And the correct answer is Petra Kvitova.
Who?
Hey, that's my trademark. Get out of here.
She won a bronze in 2016 Olympics and has won the Fed Cup, which is a team competition, 6 times in the 2010s while representing Czech Republic. So they've been pretty dominant in that, and she's been kind of one of the best ones. She's the second highest ranked Czech player behind Karolina Pliskova. So another random Czech player that I had not heard of. I've heard of Kvitova, but not Pliskova.
If I don't get this next one for a moral victory, I'm going to be very upset.
I love how you turned Genie in a Bottle, Jeannie Bouchard, into Kvitova. Very nice.
Never made a Grand Slam. This is her only one. So I was like,
Big news.
So the score is now Whoville 940, Spit and Chicklets 220 heading into the final question. And question 5 in the category of 1999. Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis fought twice in 1999, once in March, once in November. What were the results of each match? And I want you to give them in the correct order.
I like that.
Okay, let's check that in then.
Bitten Chicklets checked in. Whoville, go ahead and talk it out.
So I'm not sure which one, but maybe it makes sense that the first one was a draw,
I think that makes sense.
leading to why they did it again. Yeah.
And then didn't Lewis win the second one?
Well, he technically won the first one, if I remember correctly.
Well, no, he technically didn't.
Well, no, like it was a big deal. That's the only reason I remember the first one. From what I remember is that everyone, before it went to the judges, just assumed that it was Lennox Lewis won because it went to a decision. And then when it came back as a draw, it was all over the news. It was crazy. But the second one, I don't know. Did they have a draw twice?
No, I think Lewis won that one.
So I'm fine going with draw, and Lennox Lewis won the second one, if that's what you think. I don't know anything about the second one. I don't remember that one.
Well, I'm pretty sure he became the undisputed champion when he beat him the second time. So I'd be comfortable saying draw Lewis.
That's fine. Let's go with it.
All right, we'll check that in for 100 points.
We will check in with a draw and then Lennox Lewis winning for 100 points. And Spit and Chicklets, your answer and wager.
Yeah, we wagered 80. I knew Holyfield had a string of, at least title defenses and not losing from about, 94. So I don't think he lost the first one. We said they drew the first one, but that was kind of the passing of the torch to Lennox Lewis with the heavyweight division. So I know Lewis won the second one. So we went draw and Lewis win.
You also checked in with draw and Lewis winning for 80 points. So the first one, Eric kind of talked about a little bit earlier. It was a controversial split draw. The other two judges that didn't vote in favor of Lewis basically regretted the decision afterwards after kind of reviewing the tape. And then the second one, by unanimous decision, Lennox Lewis won. So both teams are correct. So the game has come to an end. And here are the final scores. Spit and Chicklets scored 300 points in that game, but our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Jeff Rutledge Award with 1,040 points. Whoville. First off, Byron, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate having you. If there's anything you'd like to say.
No, it was a blast. It was great hanging out with you guys for this little while. Happy to be here, and if I get to come back, that'd be great as well.
Awesome. Scott, anything else you'd like to say?
Byron, great partner, man. Thanks a lot for being on, for being a fan of the show. Really appreciate it. Anytime you want to come back on and quote Step Brothers with me and Eric, it's you're more than welcome to. So
let's have that be the dean's list. Just throw in Step Brothers quotes.
Top 10 Step Brothers quotes according to Ranker.com.
For sure. Josh, anything to add?
Well, I just want to thank Eric for taking me along on a 4-digit victory. It's the first time I've reached that echelon. He's an old hat at it. Yeah, I had a few answers, and I guess that was enough.
I'm telling you, today came up Bohmbach.
Mason had a very generous game for me today. There was plenty of things that hit in my narrow window of knowledge, and it helped. So,
well, in the vein of boxing, I feel like we need a rematch at some point.
I'll pass. You can have Dan. Take Dan as your partner for that one, if you want a shot at winning.
Eric's tough to beat. So, but Byron, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was great.
We have had more guests end up on the losing side than on the winning side, but
because they're teamed with me.
No hard feelings there. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch.